fashion. It's affordable, it's trendy, and it's everywhere. But behind the flashy storefronts and Instagram-worthy outfits lies a different story. A story of waste, pollution, and exploitation. Join us for a heated debate as youth tackle the both sides of the argument. What's more important, planet or profit?
I want Europe to become the first climate-neutral continent in the world by 2050.
European Green Deal could be a cornerstone for changing our politics, changing
the Just Transition Fund is...
If we want to deliver, obviously mobilizing EU funds
reconnect.
That's exactly what we want to do.
Most importantly is the works which are going to be done.
Appropriate support for their new obligations.
We need everyone, and no one will get left behind.
As we continue to battle the pandemic, we must also focus on our long-term challenges. This is why the Green Deal, as a growth strategy, remains our compass throughout the recovery.
We will reduce emissions by at least 55% by 2030. And today's agreement puts us on a clear path towards climate neutrality in 2050. It gives certainty to investors, to businesses, to public authorities, and to citizens. It future-proofs our union.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Diana, and I'll be your MC for today. Thank you to those that stayed with us since the earlier session and to those that just joined us. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Youth Parliamentary Debathon 2024, organized by Kini Events and Malaysia Kini, in collaboration with the delegation of the European Union to Malaysia. This event is also co-organized by the MPP of University Science Malaysia, with the great support from our partners, which are our venue partner, the University of Science Malaysia, soft skills training partner, Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking, MIDP, our co-partners, the Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP, UNITEN and the UNITEN Debate and Oratory Society, University Tun Sen On Malaysia, University Technology Malaysia, GRAS Malaysia, and Clot Circularity. Let's give them a round of applause. We would like to emphasize here once again that the discussion today is solely for knowledge purposes and to encourage the youth to voice out their respective opinions. Do take note that all the statements and suggestions from the debaters do not represent the stand of the organizers or any institutions. For your information, today's debaters are a total of 32 people, aged between 14 and 25 years old. Before the event begins, I would like to make a few announcements. This event will be conducted in English. Each debater will be given 3 minutes to present his and her statements and suggestions. And each debater will be given only 1 minute to rebut and 1 minute to answer the rebuttal. A digital timer will be displayed on the screen left and right during the presentation. Any personal remarks or negative remarks towards the debaters or any other person and institutions are strictly prohibited. Please ensure that your mobile devices and phones are silenced throughout the whole event today. The audience here can actually vote for statements and popular debaters on the website at mk.my/undidebat5, or you may also scan the QR code to actually view the debaters and their statements. And finally, this event will be live streamed on Malaysia Kini, Kini TV, and our co-partners Facebook, X, and YouTube platforms. I would now like to introduce our panel of judges that will select the best debater who will be awarded at the end of today's debate session. And they are Mr. Timo Guzman, the Minister Councillor, Head of Political Affairs, Press and Information from the Delegation of the European Union to Malaysia, and Ms. Iman Ridzuan, the event producer of Kini Events. Next, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Ng Ling Fong, Managing Editor of Malaysia Kini, to give his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. YB Gui, Mr. Timo, Kini Events Team, MPP USM, Malaysian Institute of Debate and Public Speaking, and all debaters. It's an honor to be here at the Youth Parliamentary Debathon event, especially as I return to this campus after 21 years. My time here as a student and a member of the Chinese Language Society shaped my personal and academic growth. And it was through debate that I learned to engage with diverse perspectives and the issues shaping our world. Debating offers much more than just public speaking. It sharpens your ability to analyze, collect data, and work in a team, skills that are essential in any field. Debate challenge you to think critically, form logical arguments, and develop empathy by advocating for views that you might not personally hold. Today's topic, should Malaysia ban fast fashion, is a timely and complex issue. Fast fashion, while affordable, has serious environmental and ethical downsides. Banning it could encourage sustainability, but it might also affect consumer choices and local businesses. I encourage you all to consider both sides and explore the wider impact of this debate. As you participate today, remember that debate is not just about winning, but about learning how to think, engage, and express yourself with purpose. I wish you all the best, and I'm confident that this experience will contribute to your growth, just as it did for me years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ling Fong, for your inspiring speech. Next, I would like to respectfully invite YB Gui Sen, the Exco of Youth, Sports and Health of Penang State Government, to give the launching speech. Welcome, YB.
Thank you very much to the Master of Ceremony, Mr. Timo Guzman, Minister Councillor, Head of Political Affairs, Press and Information, Delegation of the European Union to Malaysia, Mr. Ng Ling Fong, the Managing Editor of Malaysia Kini. Welcome back, Mr. Ng, to USM. Iman Ridzuan, the event producer of Kini Events, the Students Representative Council representatives from the University Science Malaysia, to all fellow debaters from Penang, from Johor, as well as from Kuala Lumpur, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, Salam Penang 2030 to all of you. Firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation for being part of this exciting event. It is truly inspiring to see young people as young as 14 years old step up to voice their opinion on this important and complex issue such as fast fashion. I want to extend my thanks to Kini Events and Malaysia Kini for providing this incredible platform for our youth. Today's topic, banning fast fashion in Malaysia, touches on a key issue affecting both our daily lives and the future of our planet. Fast fashion has transformed how we consume clothing, offering affordable, stylish garments at a rapid pace. However, the environmental and social costs of this industry have become impossible to ignore. The central question we face today is, should Malaysia ban fast fashion? On one hand, a ban could significantly reduce the environmental impact of mass-produced clothing, promoting more sustainable and ethical consumption. But we must also ask, what would be the consequences for consumers, especially those who rely on affordable clothing? Would higher prices exclude a significant portion of society from accessing essential clothing? Would such a ban inadvertently create a culture of exclusivity, pushing people towards illegal or unregulated markets? It is crucial that we find a balance between promoting sustainability and ensuring accessibility and inclusivity. While the Penang State Government fully supports initiatives like the Debathon that foster critical thinking and debate among our youth, we believe that giving young people a platform to discuss pressing social issues is essential for nurturing future leaders. Events like this align with our commitment to youth empowerment, and we are proud to see Penang's youth take the lead in addressing topics that will shape our nation's future. To all debaters, as you debate today, I encourage you to approach this topic with an open mind and a critical perspective. The goal is not just to argue for or against, but to explore solutions that consider Malaysia's unique social, economic, and environmental landscape. I think if we look at today's topic of the debate, I think today's platform would be one of the best platform created for us to discuss that matter. On one hand, when we are talking about environmental issues, social issue and all that, I think the younger generation and the youth of our society should take the lead, as they would be the agent of change and also a very powerful force within our community to bring about a real and significant change through their perspective, through their ideas, and also through the actions that they practice on their daily lives. So I would like to take this opportunity to wish all the participants the very best in this debathon and hope that you will enjoy every moment of this intellectual journey. Also, on behalf of the Penang State Government, I would like to welcome those who are not from Penang. Do stay put to enjoy some of our beautiful scenery and, of course, our delicacies and also famous street food, especially to Mr. Timo. But Mr. Timo is, of course, not a stranger here in Penang. We're glad that you came back to visit us once in a while. And, of course, to Mr. Ng, of course, after 20 over years, it's time to come back and savor some of the great delicacies and street food as well. So with that, I'm honored to officially launch the Youth Parliamentary Debathon, Episode 5 for 2024. Thank you, and I now pass the floor back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Parliamentary Debathon Season 5 2024 will begin now. A total of 16 debaters who will be presenting their statements, representing the government, and they are Shamira Nasrin, Lee Yu Hong, Dinesh Anak Lelaki Ravindran, Manuel Gillian, Sarah Tan Ke Yin, Christina Auzani, Gautam Manimaran, Surya Anisa, Halim Shah, Afiq Arshad, Muhammad Firdaus, Josh Lee, Maisara Umira, Sarah Tay Kaisin, and Siti Salina. Meanwhile, a total of 16 debaters will be representing the opposition, and they are Daniel Iskandar, Tiffany Chong, Afiq Danish, Abdullah Saud, Shazia Kadra, Ong Zan Hao, Faiz Hilmi, Suman Sugumaran, I Natasha, Lee Zijiong, Tan Yan Bin, Sharmira, Amar Akmal, Muhammad Imam, Amirul Adib, and last but not least, Aina Fadzlin. Please kindly take your seats. I would like to kindly remind the debaters once again to please follow the rules and etiquette during the debate that was taught during the previous briefing session. Next, I invite the moderator for this debate, Mr. Arif Firdaus bin Azmi, the chairman of the Penang Youth Committee, to chair this debate. Sir, the floor is yours.
Testing. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Diana. I am Arif Firdaus bin Azmi, chairman of the Penang Youth Committee and 25 Politicos, and I will chair the debate today, which touches on the topic of fast fashion. Before we begin today's debate, I would like to provide a brief overview of the topic we will be discussing. The motion for today is, this House believes that Malaysia should ban fast fashion. Fast fashion has transformed the clothing industry, making trendy and affordable apparel readily available. However, this convenience comes at a significant cost to the environment and society. The fast fashion industry is notorious for its contributions to pollution, excessive waste, and exploitation of labor. In this debate, we will explore whether Malaysia should implement a ban on fast fashion to promote more sustainable and ethical practices in the fashion industry. Will a ban lead to positive change in consumer habits and environmental impact, or could it hinder economic opportunities and accessibility for consumers? Let's hear from our debaters as they present their arguments. Without further ado, I will invite the first debater from the government team, Shamira Nasrin, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Shamira.
Thank you, moderator. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, honorable adjudicators, esteemed opposition and the members of the House. Today we are debating on an important and timely motion. Should Malaysia ban fast fashion? As the first speaker of the government today, I will outline why we believe fast fashion should be banned in Malaysia, addressing the critical harms it poses to our society, economy, and also environment. Before we proceed, let me define the key term in today's debate on what is fast fashion. So fast fashion refers to the rapid production of low-cost clothing that mimics the current luxury of high fashion trends, allowing consumers to buy trendy items at affordable prices. So while this model actually democratizes fashion, making it more audible and more affordable to broader audience, it may often lead to negative consequences, such as poor working conditions, environmental damage due to wastage, and promotion of a throwaway culture. In contrast, traditional fashion is a slow fashion, emphasizes on quality, sustainability, and ethical production to last. So the debate over fast fashion, ladies and gentlemen, is thus not about just the consumer choice, but also on a long-term impact on society and the environment. Let's talk about banning. I know the word ban sounds harsh, but the government here today, we would like to emphasize on gradual banning. While it not be maybe possible to implement an immediate of a total ban on fast fashion due to its integration into global economics and livelihoods, it supports. But a gradual approach, it both practical and also necessary. Similar to the regulation of alcohol and cigarettes in Malaysia, it can be fast on the fast fashion over time, stricter regulations, and also enforcing environmental and labor standards, increasing transparency in the supply chain, and also raising standards. I would like to, on the side of government, I would like to outline to you the pros and cons of the fast fashion, and my members of the government will dive into it later. So I would like to list down the pros, which will be the environmental impact. We will be talking about the ethical labor practices, promoting sustainability, and the cons of the bans will be economic impact, consumer resistance, silts of underground markets, and we are also looking into alternative approaches to tackle the fast fashion industry in Malaysia. That would be the regulation and reform, consumer education, and also the support for sustainable brands. So I'm going to leave it to my members of the government to dive into these factors later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shamira. Now I open the floor to the opposition team to rebut this proposal. You need to raise your hand, show your name, and you have 1 minute to rebut. Can I see one hand? Your name, please? Abdul Saud, 1 minute.
Okay, so good evening to everyone and my honorable opponents. I think I agree with it. We all over here want to help the environment and people as much as we can. Unfortunately, the problem ends up being how necessarily can we save the environment while not impacting the most vulnerable people in our groups, which is essentially the people that work in not only textiles, but also in these massive chains that are in Malaysia. We need to understand around 284,000 jobs in Malaysia alone are directly related to textile manufacturing, with a good chunk of it being affordable clothing. By enacting a ban, regardless of whether it's being done in phases, you will not be able to replace the huge amount of income lost by these groups. And there would be no proper way to actually replace the loss of income. I would like to please contest what would be a proper sustainable way to actually reduce these losses of job while actually providing them with jobs that can actually exist in a proper market.
Thank you very much. Next rebuttal from government, Manuel Jillian, 1 minute.
Dear opposition, we did say that we want to propose an alternative, and we do have the alternative. The new sustainable market will provide with a lot more jobs, such as textile makers, like sustainable textile makers, dye makers, and also silkworm farmers. Those are the jobs that will be created if we were to develop the sustainable markets more. Talking about affordability, there is no problem with affordability because thrift shopping and second-hand bundle shops are an option, right? We can buy cheaper sustainable clothes that are second-hand used in those kind of shops instead of relying on a very unethical market to do so. So this ban does not affect the affordability of fashion choices, and also it does not, it might slightly impact the economic impact. However, we are trying to plant a sapling on a new form of industry which is more sustainable and more ethical, and in terms of jobs, there will be more new jobs created in the said industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next rebuttal from opposition, Tiffany Chong, 1 minute.
Okay, so now talking about affordability. Okay, let's think about it. The poor people also, okay, maybe not poor, but maybe less, people that get lesser income than richer people. Okay, so now if you think about it, thrift shops and everything, they give us only second-hand clothes, right? Do they produce new clothes for us? No. So you have to think about it. The people that earn less also, that have lesser income than the average people, also will want new clothes, right? And what does fast fashion give them? New clothes at an affordable price. So if you're just, if you're telling them like, oh, just go buy, get some clothes from the thrift shop. You're just telling them, okay, no more new clothes for you. Just get the second-hand ones. So isn't it unfair to them?
Thank you. Next rebuttal from government, Nur Christina, 1 minute.
Okay, it is obvious that the opposition doesn't understand that poor people can't really be picky with what they want. You know, if it's obvious that it's obviously known that if you're poor, that you can't be very picky. And the government has been providing different alternatives to how you can get your clothes: thrift shops, second-hand items, and subsidies from the government. The government can provide you guys all the clothes that you need. And to pull some names like H&M and Zara, they don't really have affordable clothes like you think they do. Their clothes range from RM40 to 300 ringgit. Why do you say that the low income can afford all these items like this? And how exactly does this appeal to the B40 of the citizens? And if their income as of 2022, according to the Bernama, is below 4,850, how can they afford these items that you say are new? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from opposition, Daniel Iskandar, 1 minute.
Thank you, my dear government, for mentioning the B40. Now, let's take a look at the B40 population in Malaysia. 3 million households. 3 million households, an average household of 4 people, that's 12 million people. 12 million people of a population of 34 million people. You're looking at least 1/3 of the population who can't afford better fashion. They can afford, what they can afford? Yeah, Petaling Street. That's what they can afford, unfortunately. And yes, bundles are there, thrift shops are there, but would you really want to wear someone else's clothes? Someone else's used clothing? Yes, fact, you can't be picky with what you get, but at the end of the day, clothing sits on your body. It drapes you. You have to be comfortable with what you're wearing. And unfortunately, this fast fashion has catered to these 12 million people in our country for the longest time. For the past 10 years, fast fashion has developed into one of the largest consumer markets in Malaysia. And how are you going to erase and recreate a consumer market overnight? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from government, Manuel Jelian, 1 minute.
Dear opposition, how significant is the culture of bundle shops in Malaysia? Very significant, right? All of us have at least visited a bundle shop at least once in our lifetime. For you to say that Malaysians aren't willing to visit bundle shops in Malaysia is so not true. Because it is such a cultural significant part of our culture that we have this term called bundle shops in the first place. So thrift shopping is such a huge culture in Malaysia, so it's a false assumption for you to think that we are not willing to wear second-hand clothes. It's not. It's a false assumption in which we are trying to eliminate in this debate right now. Now, Malaysians are willing enough to buy second-hand clothes, so that argument is eliminated. Now, if people with meager income wants to buy luxury, they are able to because they can save up and therefore they can buy a more sustainable clothing that lasts longer than fast fashion does. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, the time is up. Thank you, Shamira, and all the debaters. Next, I will invite the first debater from opposition, Daniel Iskandar, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Daniel Iskandar.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you one quick question. Do all of you have Shopee? Do all of you have Lazada? How many times in a day do you scroll through TikTok or Instagram and see an ad? Shein, Shopee, Lazada, again and again. How many times do you see it? Too often? Indeed. Why? Because at this point in time, we are looking at fast fashion as not just an industry, but this industry has been consumer driven, it's consumer based, and our consumers are controlled by one thing and one thing only: media. Granted, yes, I get that the government will come throw back at me. Oh, then why are you so focused on what's trendy and what's next? Well, in Asia, you tell me one place that you can go to that doesn't have a dress code. One job that you can join that doesn't have a dress code. We as debaters came here with a dress code. Formal. So you tell me, how are we going to survive in a market that has been carved and designed in such a way, forged by media over the past 50 years? Media has controlled most of our consumers' decisions, and our consumers control what the government provides. There is no demand, there is no supply without demand, and unfortunately, you can't just erase demand, especially in this given current economic stasis where cheap is necessary. Again, I remind you of our 3 million households in Malaysia that are B40s, and I bring back that 80% of Malaysia, according to Statista 2024, 80% of the country's population are social media users. Of that 80% equivalent to 23 million people, most of them, being the 3 million households, are not able to afford anything that is above, cheap, above low quality. There's a reason why Shopee has all those as low as you can get. Shopee's flash sales, everything under $50. Because we simply can't go to places that can give us better. Take, for example, better brands that practice better sustainability, like British India, which one piece of linen costs anywhere between 300 to 500 ringgit. And it is sustainable. It's made and produced in a very great way, but it's still not affordable. The second you make something sustainable, you make it expensive. Because instead of paying, granted, it sounds disgustingly bad, a child, $12 an hour, compared to paying someone 1,500 a month, it becomes a lot more expensive. Your textiles are going to become more expensive. Your clothes are going to go from $20 on Shopee or TikTok Shop to 75, 80 ringgit for a top, let alone the rest of your outfit. And these are outfits that you need on a day-to-day basis to not just drape yourself, but to carry yourself professionally. It has become a necessity to appear professional, to look good in this world. It is a heinous, but it is a true fact. So please, no on the ban.
Thank you, Daniel Iskandar. Now I open the floor for the government to rebut. I see Tinesh Anlaki Ravindran, 1 minute.
Testing. Okay, first of all, my dear opposition, we are not against any e-commerce platform or neither with any social media. Our plan is just to ban fast fashion because it manipulates consumer and also targets people to do overconsumption. Fast fashion actually manipulates consumer into overconsumption to aggressive marketing, claiming that it's cheap and you need to buy it before the trend goes, and creating an urgency to buy more. So this actually allowing us to annually more textile waste. That's why we are telling that to provide a sustainable, we are actually going to ban it gradually. Not we're going to ban it one time. We're going to ban it gradually and also promote sustainable consumption habit that needs to be addressed. And we're trying to provide awareness. That's our goal. We can only do that if we have a gradual ban on the fast fashion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now invite the opposition, Daniel Iskandar, 1 minute.
Doesn't matter if you implement it gradually, suddenly, tomorrow, today, next week, next year, next decade. 50 ringgit is 50 ringgit. And at the current stasis, where you're going to make something sustainable, what did I just say? Making something sustainable makes it expensive, whether you make it gradually or not. Fine, today it's 15 ringgit, tomorrow it's 20, next week it's 100. It's still going to increase the price. And with an economy such as Malaysia's, which fluctuates more than, mood swings of a person, it's going to be a problem for us to make it sustainable. Your sustainability plan is flawed in itself because the economy of our country, because remind you that the ban is in Malaysia, how are you going to make your sustainable for the Malaysian consumer market? When, again, I remind you of our consumers who need this affordability, where affordability trumps all.
Thank you very much. I invite the government again. Shamira Nasrin, 1 minute.
I think the opposition do not have other points other than affordability to counter with the government with. So I would like to educate you. So to counter with your affordability argument in the context of fast fashion. So on the government, we are trying to say, apart from affordability, that it comes with enormous costs. So I understand fast fashion can be really cheap. It can be affordable to every single layers of the society. But do you know it comes with a lot more of the cost, which causes more for environment and also ethically. Consumers may save upfront for long-term costs include exploitations of labor. I'll tell you an example. This suit cost me about 400 ringgit, but it lasts for over 4 years. It causes because it focuses on sustainability. If you want cheap clothes, if you are looking into affordable clothes that doesn't even focus on the affordability, then you are not really focusing on the other side of it, which is dark side of fast fashion, where we are trying to focus. That's where the ban actually focuses on.
Thank you very much. Next to the opposition, second rebuttal, Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
So to take down the entirety of the aspect, why are we so focused on affordability? I think it's important to realize that unfortunately, the way the world works is we look first and then we judge. If I am a poor person and my clothes reflect that, would you really listen to me right now? If I came over here with you in khakis and wearing a bag of a bag of potatoes, would you really listen to what I am saying? Unfortunately, you would not. These things deeply affect things in a way, a societal way that we cannot understand, unfortunately. And for B40 to actually have access to things that look decent, it might be their only way that they cannot get judged by society and actually get some form of respect that they are not able to get. Even if I was a refugee kid, if I was able to dress properly, I would actually be able to get the same amount of rights than a person that was local. And that is a very important aspect that needs to be taken into account. When you go for sustainable options, you cannot possibly make it cheap because, as was previously mentioned, it is extremely expensive and not available to the
Time is up. Thank you very much. Next to the government, third rebuttal, Gotham, 1 minute.
Dear opposition, I think you would need to, why not all of us just take a step back and think about, you said about dressing decent, and of course we always judge on our appearance, okay? So you look very smart, you look very composed, I look very smart, I look very composed, but this suit I bought was 7 years ago, and I've been maintaining and I've been wearing it in the same parliamentary debathon which happened in 2019. So it is about maintaining, and it's about buying and investing on clothing which we can afford and we can also take care of. So what do you mean by dressing decent? Anyone can dress decent. I think that is like the basic, okay? So when you talk about sustainability, we are here to make sure that we practice ethical, you know, we practice like ethical things whereby we know that these things are sustainable. We know these are the sustainable practices. That is what we are focusing here. Not about just affordability and not just about money.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from opposition, Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
Okay, so here's the thing. I am able to afford this suit because I had a father that was willing to spend money for me. Lots of people don't have someone that can actually dish out 400 ringgits from their measly 2,800 median income. Because at the end of the day, Malaysia has an average income of 2,800 ringgits. This is by the Department of Statistics of Malaysia and was updated in March 2024. So do you think a person with this kind of income can actually dish out such massive amounts of money just to buy clothes? The answer is no. The cost of living alone in Malaysia, including rent and all those, is 2,000 ringgits. These things are obviously not possible. We are privileged. That's why I can be here talking about people that do not have that privilege in the first place. Okay, so moving on to another point that has to be mentioned is talking about second-hand clothing. You do realize the reason why it cannot sustain as a market is because the reason why people throw away clothes is because they are torn. Most clothes can never make it to the second-hand market in the first place. It is because fast fashion exists, we can have a second-hand market where people can consume and actually send to the second-hand market. With that,
Thank you very much. All right, the time is up. Thank you, Daniel Iskandar, and all the debaters. We are really fast. You know, fast fashion is fast, but this debate is faster, actually. So, with that being said, we can proceed with our second debater. So, please welcome our second debater from the government, Lee Yo Hong, to present his statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Lee Yo Hong.
All right, good evening to our judges, worthy opponents and members of the floor. I am the second speaker from the government team, and yes, I agree that Malaysia should ban fast fashion. So the thing is, the fast fashion industry contributes to environmental degradation such as excessive textile waste, water pollution, and exploitation of natural resources. So banning fast fashion in Malaysia could mitigate these issues, but if not regulated. A continued reliance on fast fashion could lead to worst-case scenarios like irreversible ecological damage, widespread pollution of water sources. So according to statistics, according to the Malaysian Ministry of Housing and Local Government, Malaysia generates about 1.70 million tons of textile waste annually. And according to Malaysia Kini, only 1% of the clothing is recycled. So according to the STAR, the average Malaysian buys about 20 to 25 kilograms of clothing per year. So this statistics reflects the significant rate of clothing consumption in Malaysia. Because it's cheap, so people would instead buy what they want, but not what they need, instead of buying what they need. So the number one material for fast fashion clothes is polyester in the fast fashion industry. So polyester is a synthetic fiber. It is made up from petroleum. It's cheap to produce and widely used in fast fashion. It's durable, lightweight, and wrinkle resistant. So first of all, it's made of petroleum. Petroleum is a non-renewable resource which will eventually be gone one day. And it is not biodegradable, which means if people would throw away their clothes, it will take up landfills for at least 200 years, since it takes 200 years to fully dissolve polyester. And when it's disposed to landfill, toxic materials used during the production process leached into the soil could contaminate the water of local population, which is bad for those countries with this waste. And the top two material for fast fashion clothes is conventional cotton. So as mentioned, the fast fashion industry uses cheap materials for clothes. So they will never give you organic cotton, which is cotton that does not use pesticides or fertilizers when growing it, or high quality cotton. Instead, they will give you a blend cotton into polyester. For example, the clothes will be made out of like 70% polyester and 30% cotton. They just give you a cheap, low quality of cotton, which is usually uncomfortable and not durable at all. So the cheap cotton is grown with genetically modified seeds, use a lot of pesticides, which can be harmful for the environment, and synthetic fertilizers, which will cause degradation, soil degradation and water pollution, and also uses a lot of water. So by banning fast fashion, we are indirectly forcing the fast fashion industries to use the materials that doesn't fall into our definitions of cheap material, which I've just mentioned just now, and they will instead opt for the cheapest material of the expensive fabric, which will be hemp. Hemp requires very little water, grows quickly, and does not deplete soil. It's highly durable. So hemp is about $1.70 to $2.35 per pound, according to stats. And yes, it's much more expensive, but in return, you get a better quality fabric that will last longer, which makes it a better investment compared to those low quality clothes. And we have organic cotton, which uses biological pest control, and there's a lot of water conservations in those organic farms, which makes it use less water. And so, moving back to the problem of environmental degradation, by doing so, we can solve the root cause of the majority textile waste and environment impact of fast fashion. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee Yu Hong. Now I open the floor to the opposition for rebuttal. Can I see one hand? Shazia Kadra, 1 minute.
Now, I'm really curious on how this works. There's actually countries that attempt to do this, which is France and UK, and they fail. Okay, so France, they actually face pushback from businesses and consumers, and UK, they face difficulty on balancing environmental policy with economic concerns. Now, even countries that are economically ahead of us can't do this. How can we? The answer is we can't, okay? So when we do this, by banning this, our GDP would reduce drastically, okay? And this will impact our economy badly. Now, how bad do we want our economy to be? I rest my case, thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to remind our debaters to utilize your time to the fullest. You are given 1 minute actually for rebuttal. So may I invite one representative from the government for rebuttal? Anyone? Gotham, 1 minute.
All right. So you said that France and UK have failed to do so? No, they didn't fail. It's just setbacks and a little bit of pushbacks. They didn't fail. Did they stop? Did they stop? Did they stop? They didn't stop. Yeah, they didn't stop. It's still ongoing because, of course, when you want to ban something, it takes there's a lot of stakeholders involved. There's a lot of lobbyists involved. Smoking is bad. Can I ban smoking today? No, of course, there's so many stakeholders involved. So if I want to ban something which has been a practice for not 1, not 2, not 3, but decades, of course there'll be pushbacks, there'll be setbacks. So it is still ongoing. It is still ongoing. But the future is on sustainability, and a lot of people know that we have to find an alternative way in order to curb this problem. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's rev things up with another rebuttal. Can I have one representative from the opposition? Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
So let's try to think about sustainability, and let's try to think about what is easier for us to do. Right now, we are in a room that is made of concrete with electricity that comes from fossil fuels and a plastic cover on a book that we just got. Did we do this because it was the most ethical thing to do? I got all the information that I did from a smartphone. Did I do it because it was the most ethical thing to do? No, I did it because it was the only thing I can do. It is the only option I do have. The reason why people work in sweatshops and why people work in fast fashion industry is because that's the only option they have, unfortunately. By banning these things, we are taking away the opportunity to not only work, but by significantly taking away the opportunity for people to consume what they are. Right now, Exploitation is happening everywhere. The reason why your smartphone has a battery, the reason why the judge right now can type a text right now is because of a battery that was mining chemicals and cobalt from child labor that was done in Congo. If we want to truly stop exploitation, we need to have better enforcement of laws and not ban fast fashion and people's livelihood.
Thank you very much. Second rebuttal from government, Shamira Nasrin, 1 minute.
Okay, I think this is where we saw the opposition actually supporting our motion, why we are trying to ban fast fashion gradually. Here's why. Okay, I'm seeing that opposition is trying to attack us right away, but here's why. The main reason we are trying to have this ban gradually is because we are ethically against on what's going on in the fast fashion industry. We are ethically going against. We talk about cheap labor. We talk about child labor. That is what we are against. A siding of affordability. Yes, we admit fast fashion does give us affordable clothes. But it comes with a cost. What are the costs? Child labor, illegal, we even hear about human trafficking into fast fashion industry. We have workers of Bangladesh going into protest for overworking. The wages for each of these workers are not counted per hour, but per piece of cloth. So that is amount of pressure that we are trying to look into and we are trying to tackle into.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Third rebuttal, Daniel Iskandar from the opposition, 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I invite you to open your minds. Fair. You want to talk about exploitation? Fine. You want to talk about it's inhumane? Fine. You want to talk about rights, etc., 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 etc.? Fine. But let me remind you of our motion today and allow me to point out an obvious. Fast fashion is an industry. You are banning an industry. You are not changing the world by one industry changing. Fair. You want to combat exploitation? Then let's move this debate away from your ban of fast fashion to talk about implementation of stronger laws and enforcement on exploitation, which covers more than just one industry. Why are you so against this one industry, honestly? And this one industry fuels not just some countries, but in Bangladesh's case, 50% of their GDP. So why destroy entire livelihoods just to combat one minute thing that you could be doing on a bigger scale on a different policy? You're in the wrong room, honey.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from government. Sinesh, 1 minute.
Testing. Okay, that's the reason why we want to ban fast fashion, because ethical production, that what we are referring to is the process of manufacturing fabric in the fashion industry that giving fair treatment to the workers and using responsible sourcing of material which minimize harm to both people and the planet. That's why we from the government side are using this opportunity to ban this fast fashion so that we can bring in sustainable fashion that can allow us to prevent environmental impact towards Malaysia. And also we refer to the sustainable, again I repeat the word sustainable because what we are trying from the government is to tell everyone in this all today is that we want to sustain. Sustain means prolong, and to make sure that we have an ethical and a good environmental impact. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, the time is up. Thank you, Lee, and all the debaters. The room is getting cold, but the debate is getting hotter. So, with that being said, I would like to invite our second debater from the opposition, Tiffany Chong, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Tiffany Chong.
Okay, now, fast fashion, an industry that is worth so much to everyone around the world. So, they constantly create or churn out new, affordable, trendy, and new styles of clothing for everyone. So now, let me ask everyone on this floor. So what is the role of the fashion industry, to our economy and to the future of our people? Now, so I would like to talk about, good morning, my honorable adjudicators, my worthy opponents, and all the members of the floor. So I, as the second speaker of the opposition team, strongly oppose the motion today whether we should or should not Malaysia ban fast fashion. Now, what do you first need to know? So, fast fashion, it plays a role in allowing mainstream consumers to purchase new looks at an affordable price. So, assuming we ban it, okay, it will impact the economy significantly. Why? So, fast fashion actually plays a huge role in the world's economy, the whole world, not just Malaysia. So, in short, banning it, which means no sales, no productions, which is what your team is proposing, will impact the economy of the whole world. So, fast fashion is also measured as a national GDP. What is GDP? It stands for gross domestic product. So the fashion industry is the 7th biggest GDP, which actually has 2.4 trillion, which is an economy that is bigger than Brazil itself, and also equivalent to the UK and France. So, in short, if we are banning this industry, wouldn't we just be jeopardizing the whole world's economy? Because it's like one of the biggest industries out there. Now, international markets, banning it. This will cause Malaysia to be cutting ties with international markets. And why are international markets so important to Malaysia? So, because our country is heavily reliant on trading. It heavily relies on trading with other countries, in which involves the international market. So, now, I would also like to talk about how fast fashion is actually one of the most affordable clothing industries out there. So, when your team, like one of your reporter speakers, said how poor people shouldn't be picky, well, it is still their right to have a choice. You're just taking away their choice. You're taking away their choices. They have their human rights. They have the right to choose. Even if you say, oh, they shouldn't be picky, why would you say that? Everyone has human rights. They have the rights to choose. Even if they do not have enough money, we should at least give them these clothes, these industries, so that they have the right to choose. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. Now I open the floor for the government to rebut. Can I have one? Surya Anissa. Yes. Surya Anissa, 1 minute.
All right. Thank you so much for providing me a lot of evidences and everything. So now we are talking about the economically in fast fashions, right? So basically, what kind of economic we want to bring in this country? So like if we put aside the fast fashions, actually we can open more jobs opportunities out there, because I show you one example is that, okay, let's say if we focus on sustainable fashions, we can open like recycle factories. Isn't open job opportunities for others, and it will increase our economics, right? And then at the same time, it doesn't just focus on economic. At the same time, we focus on sustainable. Since we are focusing on recyclable industries, we will take a lot of workforce and then put a lot of efforts on it, and then but my
time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next to the opposition, Daniel Iskandar, 1 minute.
All right, what kind of industry, job opportunities, etc., everything the government tells you is in the long run. Okay, let's talk about immediate impact. Immediate impact is even though you eradicate or you ban gradually, let's give it to you, gradually, even if you ban it gradually, you erase 1,000 jobs today but you cannot create 1,000 jobs tomorrow, because again, this is a consumer-driven market. You cannot make okay, fine, let's not make it too extreme. You cannot make the consumer market suddenly shift hearts, especially considering their circumstances. Yes, you can buy a suit or buy a piece of clothing that lasts longer, but it boils down to the simple fact is, do I have money to spend at that exact moment? If I spend 600 ringgit right now, 600 ringgit that I could have been spending on food, rent, or anything else that month on one piece of clothing that will last me 6 years, it's simply not sustainable. So your sustainable is not sustaining. Please make it make sense.
Thank you very much. Second rebuttal from government, Manuel Julian, 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, he said it himself. It's in the long run. This is a long-term benefit. It will open a new industry that will benefit us in the long run. Fast fashion is Fast fashion has a detrimental effect that is affecting all of us at a fast rate. That's why we need a long-term solution. They say them themselves. So we welcome you to join our side because it is in the long run. We want to create a sustainable industry. We want to create a sustainable product in the long run so it doesn't give us the detrimental effect, the environmental impact, humanitarian impact, and also the ethical labor impact that we have currently right now. We want to abolish it gradually because it's a process. Just like one of my speakers said, he said it's a gradual process. Bans takes processes. It's a long run. It's a marathon, and the long-term effect is beneficial for a long time. Also, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May I invite second rebuttal from opposition, Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
So allow me to illustrate what government's case looks like. They say that if we ban fast fashion, all the forests in the world are finally starting to regrow. All environmental concerns that are associated with every other industry will just stop. All form of exploitation will just end. I feel like that's what I'm getting because fast fashion isn't the sole entity responsible for all of these. The sole entity responsible is humanity as a whole and the capitalistic narrative that we live in. As long as consumers exist, this thing will exist. Exploitation of people existed 3,000 years ago. It still exists now. That's because that's what happens in humanity. We are reveling in these things, and that's the reason why we can happen. Now, let's look at the short-term consequences. What happens when you actually ban these things? What happens is there are 100,000 people in Malaysia that lose their job. Even if they lose it over 10 years, they're still losing their jobs. They're losing their livelihoods and their entire markets that are being crumbled. There's an entirety of these people that no longer have an income. Why do these people not matter, but your sustainable markets that will last in 10 years do matter? Please respond.
Thank you very much. Order for all the debaters. Relax, calm down. The room is still cold. So may I invite our third speaker from government, Gotham.
All right.
Okay, so, sorry. Gotham, please continue. 1 minute.
All right. So, my dear rival, you said that, okay, why do we have to ban or whatsoever? I think previously my first key debater have already stated what are the pros, what are the cons, and we have other solutions as well to overcome this problem, okay? Because progress is a double-edged sword. Okay, there is always pros and cons, and of course we will feel a pinch. But are you disagreeing with the fact that what are you trying to propose? What is your proposition? Like, what is your solution? What is your solution from your side? So are you saying that we should not go sustainable? We are trying to fight saying that we have to go sustainable. We are spearheading towards sustainability. So are you disagreeing that we should not go sustainable? Should we just not care about the environment? Because when it comes to this type of matters, 3 Ps plays a role. People, planet, profit. And it seems like your side always plays a role in the profit side. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, third rebuttal from opposition, Muhammad Imam, 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the government side, we remember what the first speaker said before. It is not our job to think about the other alternative. It is the job from the government side, not the opposition side. We as opposition side, we want to discuss together, but another new alternative must come out from the government side. So we must have the check and balance. So it is what opposition side have today. Ladies and gentlemen, if the government side say that increase the job opportunities, for us, ladies and gentlemen, in Malaysia, all job opportunities, I give you an example. If the jacket of the first speaker is 400 ringgit, my jacket is 50 ringgit, and I buy it at hari-hari. So don't you think that hari-hari, we must ban the hari-hari mall, ladies and gentlemen? So it is what? Because the definition from the government side, he said that the price is cheaper, so it is conclude that it is a material of the fast fashion. So what is the clear definition by the government side?
Thank you very much. We still have some time, so now, out of courtesy, I'll open one more line of rebuttal from the government. Halim, 1 minute, Halim.
Dear beloved oppositions, we're not banning the brand. We're banning the fast fashion the practices that they use. The brand is not being banned. You want to have H&M, you want to have Hari Hari, sure, but they can't use fast fashion. It's quite simple, isn't it? Right? And we are talking, and yeah, that is it.
You still have some more, okay. One more, Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
Okay, so let's try to take it back to thinking about what is the major problem here. We want to stop exploitation and we want to do the good things for our environment. Both sides agree to that, right? But I don't necessarily see that if you can ban it from fast fashion, do you seriously think there will be a significant impact on the entirety of the world that does exploitation? Because exploitation exists in every single industry. If you go to a 7-Eleven, if you buy something for very cheap, why do you think that happens? It's because exploitation is built into our system. Regardless of whatever you actually replace it with, sustainability is still going to have exploitation. And we believe exploitation would actually end up being worse on your side because there are no alternatives for the most poor people to either get access to jobs or even be able to buy basic necessities like clothing. What essentially are you going to do for the poor is not something that has been mentioned. You basically said, we are fine with trading off the most vulnerable people, these lives on the ground, because it is not my life, it is someone else's life, because you never put them on your own shoes. Why is the job of a person that works in a sweatshop not as important as me as a person here?
Time is up. Thank you very much. All right, the time is up. We already have 4 lines of rebuttal. Thank you, Tiffany, and all the debaters. We are now moving to our third debater from the government team. So may I please invite Mr. Tinesh Analaki Ravindran to present his statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Tinesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, and our lovable moderator, the rise of fast fashion has reshaped consumer habits, particularly among younger demographics. While events like Kuala Lumpur Fashion Week promote local talents, the industry faces challenges from fast fashion and requires better support for local fabric designers. So, today, why should we ban fast fashion? I'm going to give 2 points. Point number 1, labor exploitation. According to an article named Fast Fashion and its Environmental Impact published in January 5, 2024 by Earth Organization, states that fast fashion does not only have a huge environmental impact, it also possesses societal problem. The problem is that fast fashion brings significant environmental impacts, accounting for 10% of global carbon emissions and 20% of global wastewater from fabric dyeing. In the article also, it tells that it also leads to severe human rights violation. In the article, it states that a 2018 US Department of Labor report found evidence of forced and child labor in fashion industry in Argentina, Bangladesh, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Turkey, Vietnam, and other countries. Rapid production means that sales and profits supersede human welfare. Besides, Annie Ratner-Linden reveals in a project called An Analysis of Fast Fashion Industry published in 2016 that fast fashion has always been a low capital and a labor-intensive industry. So, for moving on the point number 2, which is the increase in textile waste. According to New Straits Times article called Reducing Textile Waste is Everyone's Responsibility, published on December 7, 2021, tells that SW Corp Malaysia has recorded 195,300 tons of textile waste was recorded in 2021. According to the article, Malaysia finds 1,800 tons of illegal toxic waste dumped at port by Jesse Yung, CNN, also published that on Monday, July 2020, states in 2019, the Malaysia government began cracking down illegal waste dumping, including textile waste. Several illegal waste recycling plants were shut down and tons of waste were found abandoned. Despite this effort, the problem persists due to weak enforcement and corruption, and the problem still persists. So, and also in that article, it tells that the previous Yeo Bin, Minister of Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, has urged to developed countries to review the management of plastic waste and stop shipping textile waste to developing countries. So, what is our alternative solution? Our alternative solution is sustainable fashion, where it offers an alternative to fast fashion by promoting ethical practices, eco-friendly materials. Sustainable fashion focuses on high-quality, long-lasting garments while ensuring fair wages for workers. We will promote companies that use organic fabrics and uphold fair labor practices. In conclusion, fast fashion environmental harm and worker exploitation are well documented and cannot be justified by job loss or transition challenge. By promoting sustainable fashion and ethical consumer choices, we are positively impacting Malaysia and the lives of those who are making our clothes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I open the floor for the opposition. May I have one name? Daniel Iskandar, 1 minute.
Opposition, I invite you once more to open. Granted, fast fashion does exploit quite a lot of people for labor, but what's one industry that we don't talk about that exploits people? Tobacco? They exploit people too. They exploit more people. How about forced labor, mining, all that other industries? The focus, if your focus is on the betterment and well-being of people, fine. But this is not, but you're going in the wrong direction with this particular industry. Considering the fact that this industry is one of the biggest industries and biggest capitals in the world, you must think of the long run. Wait, hang on. I know you're going to come at me with the long run sustainability thing, but again, you cannot have a long run if you can't start up. That start up is going to cost you more than your sustainability will ever cover for. Like I said, 1,000 jobs lost today does not mean 1,000 more job opportunities tomorrow.
Thank you very much. One from the government. May I invite Nur Kistina?
Okay, opposition, I think you keep forgetting that the motion today is should Malaysia ban fast fashion, not tobacco, not mining, nothing else but fast fashion itself. That should be the debate today. Okay, and also I would like to add that fast fashion is only affordable because these certain types of items that are considered inaffordable is due to the lack of demand. For example, these brands, these expensive sustainable brands are split apart for the rich only because in order to maintain the exclusivity. And following the theory of demand and supply, if consumers such as ourselves kept demanding sustainable fashion, the supply will eventually increase to meet the demand. From this, nice quality items, sustainable fashion will no longer be deemed a luxury, like how you said British India and stuff. Yeah, it will no longer be a luxury because there will be a much wider demand for that, and the supply will also increase. Hence, to counter your case about fast fashion is affordable, we can make fashion in general affordable by eliminating exclusivity.
Time is up.
So it's accessible by all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Second rebuttal for opposition. May I invite the gentleman, Suman Sugumaran? 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Just now I heard that dear government said that it's only for rich, right? I heard that you are saying that it's only for rich. So, this world, in Malaysia, we need to first see the equality for everyone. And the second thing, we need to see satisfaction for everyone. We can't just take the things and just sell it for only rich people. There are middle class people in here, poor people also. It's not, we can't sell just high expensive things for only rich people. There are middle class also. There are poor people also. So we need to give them a nice product like fast fashion. You just can't say about the fashion that you can do it without any step. So you can say that you are doing it for profit or you're just saying that only for rich. Can I know that, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next rebuttal from government. I prefer someone who, okay, Sarah, 1 minute.
Okay, so obviously, just now our team has already mentioned that for the low-income people, they could go thrifting. And obviously, this whole fashion thing is not for the rich people. So do you think that people with low income, they would look for like some new clothes only for it to last for some time? Or maybe they would find old, used clothes, but they would last for a long time. Obviously, they're going to choose the thrifted clothes, right? Because it's going to save them money. And yeah, thank you.
You still have 30 seconds. You want to utilize? No? No, we can't. We have to follow the sequence. So may I invite third rebuttal for opposition? Someone, Suman Sugumaran, 1 minute.
So you were saying that there is not only for rich people. You were saying that it's for middle class people and poor people, right? So, oh, what's affordable? Okay, so people just only choose what's affordable. So, that's the point. So we just can't sell high expensive things and let people go on poverty and let them increase on financial issue. So we need to see that also in middle class and poor families. So and the next thing, there is a place for middle class and poor people also in this place. Okay. And the last thing that I'm going to say is second clothing. It's about the second clothing, right? So we just recycling it and selling to others, not just giving a high expensive things to let them use it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from government, Shamira Nasrin, 1 minute.
All right. I would like to share a very simple concept right here. In Penang itself, we have encouraged no plastic bag scheme, right? So how does this happen? Gradually. And we encourage it by giving out free plastics, and then we charge 20 cents for it, and then we go for 50 cents for it, 1 ringgit for it, and now we encourage biodegradable plastic bags and also reusable plastic bag at the cost of 2 ringgit, 5 ringgit. That is the same concept we are trying to follow up over here. To counter the affordability, here we are, and we are trying to encourage a saving up culture. If anyone could access to a mobile phone right now, I think anyone could save up and access to a quality clothing line and sustainable clothing line. And we are trying to argue that where they are purchasing power fewer, higher quality items are more financially sustainable practice in the long run. By promoting culture where individuals save up to buy durable, ethically produced clothing, and consumer can slowly save away from
Time
the
is up.
disposable mindset. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Out of courtesy and also some time left, let's go open one more line rebuttal. May I invite our next speaker, Daniel Iskandar? 1 minute.
Okay. Sustainable fashion is fine. Sustainable because it's durable, it's more quality. But again, reminding you that kick off, we need to address other matters long before we address fast fashion and spending. Why? Because the economy, people spend, at the end of the day, this is a consumer market, and the consumers control buying power, and the buying power is controlled by what they have, and what they have is not enough. Maybank said earlier this year, 2024, that the cost of living in Malaysia costs 2 grand per person average. And we established that the median income is 2,800. How much can we really afford? Do I need to slow this down for you? Anyways, reminding you guys that you have not that much to spend at this exact moment. If I have 10 bucks, that's all I have. Regardless if I save up or whatever, but I need it now, and this is what I have now.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Fourth rebuttal from government, Gotham, 1 minute.
I only have a minute to whip up everything, but I'll try to cook. But you said about consumer-driven industry. So let me tell you this. One of our alternate approaches was consumer education. Raising awareness about impacts of fast fashion can encourage more responsible purchasing habits. Like I said, the commoners that purchase, they do not know the environmental impacts. They don't know the economical impact. They don't know. They just want to buy and use. They don't have time, or they don't have the necessity to even look through into this, because there is not much of a transparency in this matter. So what is the end goal here? Why are we debating here? What is the whole debacle about? We want to ban fast fashion. Why? Why are we doing this? And this is, textile industry contributes 10% of our carbon emission. So we want to achieve our SDG. Am I right or am I wrong? So we are. So we are fighting in order to achieve those. So if we follow those approaches that you said, we will not be able to achieve those goals. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the time is up. Thank you, Tinesh, and all the debaters. Things are really heating up right now, and I can feel it because I'm between two of these amazing giants right now. Next, the final line, I will invite our last and third debater from Team Opposition, Afiq Danish, to present your statement for 3 minutes. Please welcome Afiq Danish.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to the respected speaker, timekeepers, honorable judges, member of the government team, member of the floor, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say that government statement is very weak and unacceptable because they doesn't say specifically step to how they to implement this thing. Because government give the weak statement that we heard. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring this motion into the specific issue if the government choose to ban fast fashion from Malaysia. First of all, fast fashion also can contribute to economic growth by giving more job opportunities to the local people. It is because people can get a job in multiple industry and sectors. In fact, approximately 262,000 people were employed in the textile, apparel and leather industry in Malaysia in 2023. This indicates a steady increase in the number of people employed since 2015. If the government ban fast fashion in Malaysia, many people will lose their job, including our people, because fast fashion include in textile industry. Do you understand? Okay. Also, about migrant labor exploitation, children exploitation, I do not deny about various labor issue like migrant labor exploitation, also about also about environmental issue. But we need to look at another point of view. We need to big our scope of view. So how do we resolve it? So we need to decide that how to resolve it without resulting another issue that might affect our economy and people. That's point. This will cause mass employment and some people will lose their livelihood for vulnerable population. Alright, like the government say about the B40. Therefore, this industry only provide opportunities for them to support their families. The government doesn't say what industry they will help these people. Government just say a new industry, a new job. What is the job? Honorable House, my suggestion to improve our agreement for this session, the government needs to review and improve our labor law, enforce the current Labor Act, and make a new guideline about the textile and garment industry, reduce environmental issue, pollution, as well as labor exploitation. What they use for our law and ladies and gentlemen, my next point is also about human rights to choose what they desire to work, where to appeal to themselves, whether for social media, workplace, or even killing time at the cafe. As we know, fast fashion is not only affordable to purchase, but it offers a variety of design from vintage style to modern fashion that suit anyone's taste. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Afiq. Now I open the floor for the government. Manuel Jillian, 1 minute.
Dear opposition, you want visualization? We give you visualization. You want mechanization? We give you mechanization. You want to see how we want to mechanize this policy? We will give it to you. First, step 1. At the first quarter of this process, we will make labor laws stricter. Therefore, we can affect producers such as Shein and Taobao and Lazada will drop their fast fashion practices. On the second quarter of this process, we ban materials that are toxic and non-biodegradable. H&M and Zara will drop their practices of fast fashion. And in step 3, we fully impose a full ban on the practices of fast fashion on the last quarter of this policy. Therefore, it is a working, walking policy. We have proof of this because France recently banned fast fashion in their law, in their amendment to ban fast fashion, advertisement of fast fashion in their country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next to the opposition, Afiq Danish, 1 minute.
All right. You talk about law enforcement, right? Like I said, government should law enforcement. But how about research and development? Government doesn't say about R&D. So, when government ban fast fashion, where are the funds to do R&D? Yes. That government will take some budget to do R&D for suitable fast fashion or fashion. No. So the fund can be obtained from largest company like Zara, H&M, Uniqlo, and so on in the field of fast fashion from R&D. For R&D, we can strengthen it fast fashion to be consumer and environment friendly. No funding, no research. So how we can use our intellectual in this situation?
Thank you very much. Second rebuttal from government, Muhammad Firdaus, 1 minute.
Assalamualaikum. So the opposition say that the government doesn't do the R&D sector, right? For us, that R&D sector will be changed into eco-friendly textile, which is the answer to the R&D sector. And on that sector, we will continue to make sustainability product, which is our number one, which is our alternative way to answer for this question. And the opposition, they seem to be on the loose end, because they seem to be have multiple stand, not like us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Second rebuttal from opposition, Amar Akmal, 1 minute.
Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, and my dearest opposition. Okay, so I understand your concerns about all of the current issues that have been going on in this country. But I need you guys to understand that everything that you said could be overcome. Okay, so first of all, what I wanted to say is the environmental crisis could be overcome with few ways, and even a famous way, such as with 3R, which is reuse, repair, and then recycle our products. And also, there is an exploitation, and also you keep on talking about the exploitation of labor here, it is actually already a crime in our country. The child labor and the labor abuse, we already have an enforcement about it. The problem is we just need to have a stricter law enforcement. So that is the issue right here. We just need to tighten the law enforcement. So, and also you also be talking about overconsumption, which is, economically speaking, the more they consume, then the better our economy will go, the better it will grow. So, so instead of banning this, fast fashion.
Time is up.
Instead of banning this fast fashion, we could actually we could actually just keep on going, and everything will go as smooth as it could.
Time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, please abide to your time. Third rebuttal from government. Lee Yo-hong, 1 minute.
All right. Yes, the fast fashion industry has a GDP of 2.4 trillion and it provides a lot of jobs and etc. But just because you're making money doesn't mean you can harm the environment. Just because it's affordable doesn't mean you can exploit workers or children. Drug dealers are also making a lot of money, so why ban them? Because they're harming people's life. And yes, the environment is less important than a human's life, but it is still very important because the environment is it's where and how our future human lives depend on what we do now. So not banning fast fashion just because of the affordability is like saying, I want cheap trendy clothes and my grandchildren living between piles of polyester. And the opposition team also mentioned about, said that we're violating the consumers' human rights for not letting them to choose what clothes they want. But let me ask side opposition a question. Is the rights of the people being exploited in those fast fashion industry more important, or your rights to choose what you want to wear is more important? And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Third rebuttal from opposition. Abdullah Saud, 1 minute.
To begin this entire thing, once again, I think side government does not seem to understand that banning an industry does not necessarily stop exploitation in humanity as a whole. It does not stop the rampant abuse of our environment that's being done by every single industry, not just fast fashion. And they realize that by enacting a total ban on this, it can also be a stepping stone for banning literally every single thing. Let me list down a bunch of countries or a bunch of industries that actually exploit child labor. Well, let's look at it. Agriculture, tobacco, fossil fuels, mining. Well, doesn't that mean that every single thing that we are using right now is as a result of exploitation? Well, if we want to truly combat this, should we ban one specific industry that's doing it instead of every single industry? Or should we actually go to the root of the problem and have better enforcement and ban the proper exploitation of children and exploitation of these different resources? We need to have better enforcement instead of banning and taking away the livelihoods of 100,000 people who are going to be on the streets with no way to actually afford anything whatsoever.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Fourth and final rebuttal from government. I see one Afiq Arshad. So this is the last line. Wrap it up and give your best knock.
Listening. Okay. What the opposition trying to say is we're not banning fashion. We not want to ban the fast fashion because all industry have the human exploitation. Meaning that at the first place, the opposition side is accepting the fact that this fast fashion is actually facing this kind of problem. Once we accepting this problem is actually occur in our industry, why we do not to stop this kind of problem from remaining or continue at the future. So by banning this kind of fast fashion, we can at least stop this one of the factors that leads to the human exploitation, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we want to do in this debate. Secondly, they are keep talking about another factor of human exploitation. They are not engaging with our case from the government side because we are talking about how this fast fashion is actually lead to the human exploitation, that they are not deny it at all from the first place until the end of their speech just now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Last rebuttal from opposition. Okay, Daniel Iskandar, this is the last line. Wrap it up and give your best knock.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remind me after this debate to advocate for the education of the government team. Because clearly, yeah, you want us to engage? Let's engage. You want us to talk about, you want to ban fast fashion, one industry. The reason why we don't want to engage with you because it's too minute. You want to talk about a major global problem, then engage that problem in a global way. You would take out one industry and act like you've saved the world. You ain't Superman, by the way. Okay, you did not. You took one factor, one out of the top 7. There's 6 other things above it. There's 6 other industries with problems. And you choose to take the 7th place. I would agree if you took the top 3 at least. Now, you want to talk about your 3 Ps, your people, your planet, your profits. Okay, fine. Your sustainability is going to shorten out profits immediately. Why? Because, again, you don't have the funds to start it off immediately to even sustain it. Your people will suffer because they don't have the money. Fine, the only thing I'll give you is the planet. That's it. Other than that, your sustainability not sustaining. So please, for the love of God, drop the act.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our debaters a big round of applause. Is it possible? One more. Okay, out of the courtesy of the organizer, just one final knock. And this is the actual last one, so one final knock.
Okay. You keep coming back to the same point all over again from the beginning till the end, the affordability and the economics and the globals and the whatnot. Let me tell you something. Fast fashion is not the only industry Malaysia workers are depending on. We have industries like semiconductors, we have timber industries, we have education industry, we have so many industries that the Malaysian workforce is actually depending on. And for your information, semiconductor companies that has been shutting down, for example, like Intel in Malaysia, has been causing the job market to go way off compared to fast fashion industry. So I would like to really point out to you that fast fashion industry is not the only industry the Malaysian market is actually deploying on. And we are trying to emphasize to you, yes, we might not be we might not be stopping the entire issue, but we are a step ahead on making a change in that exploitation, or it can be in any sustainability practices as well. Ethical labor forces, child exploitation.
Thank you very much. One final knock from the opposition. One final knock.
Okay, so to explain, why do we keep running back to the same point? It's because I feel like opposition does not understand. That's why I deal with children a lot, and normally repetition seems to work, but unfortunately it doesn't work for opposition's case here. So now, let's talk about specifically, what is the problem with exploitation? Exploitation will exist as long as humanity exists. If you take down one industry, every other industry will do the same thing over and over again. If you want to stop exploitation, stop using fossil fuels, because that's actually the biggest cause of greenhouse gases. Why don't you just walk everywhere instead of taking a car? Why don't you just stop using electricity? because you cannot and people depend upon that, and that is the entirety of our case. We need to emphasize on this. The reason why you cannot do it is because people depend upon it. You cannot take down the lives of 100,000 poor people and say that, at least we save the environment, even though you did not even make a dent in the total amount of carbon emission that happens. Even if you can take down the entirety of the industry, you only take down 10%, 90% is still going on, which will actually be made up by other forms of different types of things. So please,
Time is up.
I wish for you to understand and
Time
understand.
is
Go
up.
for the cause and not
Time
ban
is
poor
up.
people from existing.
Thank you very much to all of our debaters. Let's give them a big round of applause. Fast fashion is very fast, but this debate is faster. It started from 0 to 100 really, really quick. And although this room is cold, but on stage it's very hot to be between these two giants actually. Let's give them another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So when it comes to planet or profit, which one is more important? The honest answer is we don't really know. That's why we have these debates. And we hope from these conversations, it will continue to expand intellectually, and hopefully it can be inspiration for our legislative chambers to come. With that being said, our debate has ended, and I'm passing the floor back to our MC. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you once again to our amazing debaters and our respectable moderator. Before I proceed, I would like to invite all of you to return to your seats. From today's session, we were able to watch their constructive discourse and their ability to articulate their viewpoints on fast fashion, which has truly captivated and enlightened us all. Thank you to Mr. Arif Firdaus for striking a balance, maintaining order, and stimulating an engaging discussion. Next, I would like to now invite Mr. Timo Guzman, Minister Councillor, Head of Political Affairs, Press and Information from the Delegation of European Union of Malaysia, to give a closing speech.
Can I take this? All right. Very good afternoon to all of you. It's very, very difficult to take the floor after this truly passionate debate. And I must say that compared to you, many times what we see in politics is really boring. You were so lively, you were so to the point. We had a fantastic moderator, awesome job, and you were very well prepared, and we had a fantastic debate. So thank you so much for that. And I would like to really encourage you to keep your passion. All of you probably have different ideas of what to do in life. You're probably coming from different faculties, different backgrounds, different parts of Malaysia. But it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your background is. Stay passionate about what you're doing, because whenever you're passionate in what you're doing, you will be able to show the best part, the best side of yourself, just as you did during the debate. So that was great to watch. From my point of view, maybe a couple of points on the debate itself. First message from me would be, don't underestimate the power of consumers. Consumers are the ones injecting the money. As when we are consumers, when we go to the store, we make the entire cycle, the entire value chain, from the production, from the sourcing of the materials, from the design. We make it happen as consumers. So as consumers, we can be very powerful. And there are many examples of cases when consumers actually made a difference, and consumer choices force the industry to make different decisions. So I would say a lot of the change that we see in the world And I believe that things are going in the right direction. Maybe they are not going as fast as all of you would like it to see. But many things have changed. Since the Industrial Revolution of 11-year-old children sourcing coal in dark mountains areas and with terrible, terrible working hours, things have changed, and we have a lot of legislation. We have the Modern Slavery Act. We have all sorts of transnational legislation on working standards. We have the ILO standards. We have all sorts of international agreements. So things are going in the right direction, and I think a lot of it is due to consumer awareness. So starting to make the right choices as consumers, I think, is one important part of it. Number two, second takeaway, second thing I would like to add at this point is that you should also not underestimate the power of regulation. I know this does not sound sexy. It does not sound appealing. It sounds dull and bureaucratic, maybe because you have a bureaucrat in front of you. But as a bureaucrat, based on political priorities, based on consumer awareness, based on political majorities, to enact a bureaucratic change, you need a majority in parliament. You need majorities. You need the consent of the political landscape. So if you have these majorities, if you have the basic foundation of changing consumer awareness, you actually can do a lot through bureaucratic fine-tuning. It really matters that a bureaucracy is capable of really calibrating very finely. And you saw in the debate what is at stake. So in the debate, there's black and white. In real politics, there's never black and white. There's always 50 shades of gray. So we have to discover the 50 shades of gray and make the best out of it. And we have to look one by one what can be done. And it's not only about fast fashion, yay or nay. It's about how to design, what kind of materials. In the European Union, for example, we have introduced something that's called the Eco-Design Directive. So in order to sell an item in the European Union, you cannot just take whatever polyester. The vendor is actually responsible for the entire life cycle. So you cannot say, I have nothing to do with it. I buy it from wherever. I sell it to one of our customers, and then everything is finished. No, a vendor is responsible for the entire life cycle of a product. So there are many ways to deal with this. We also have the directive coming up on corporate due diligence. This means that if we sell a certain product, let's say a telephone, there is an obligation of the companies to prove that there is no child labor, that there is no exploitation, that there is an economic and ecological sustainability in the sourcing of the product. So this is coming. It's not yet in place, but the legislation is in place. It will take effect in a couple of years. So there's a lot on the way. So 2 takeaways. Number one, the power of consumer choices. I think a lot of times in life, it's not the politicians, it's not the bureaucrats who give the spark to an important change. A lot of it comes from the consumer choices. A lot of it comes from economic rationale. A lot of times then, if you have a first spark of legislation, it's the big companies who then go to the hundreds and hundreds of small and medium enterprises and break down some sort of legislation to the entire value chain. So that is one important mechanism that could be on our side, on the side of responsible consumers. And the number 2, the power of fine-tuning, of a calibration, of specific regulation. So I think there is hope, but there's even more hope when we have passionate, talented, young debaters as the group in front of me. I'm very happy and very proud to have the opportunities to spend this afternoon with all of you. I warmly congratulate you for an amazing debate, and I thank Malaysia Kini so much for making this happen. Thanks a lot to all of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timo, for all your informative speech and many interesting takeaways. We hope that your insights will inspire further discussion and understanding on this topic. Moving on, the moment we have all been anticipating and waiting for, who will be the best debater and the most popular debater for today's session? The winner of the best debater will receive a 1,000 ringgit cash and a lifetime of Malaysia Kini subscription. And the winner of the most popular debater award will be receiving a 500 ringgit cash and a lifetime of Malaysia Kini subscription. With that, I would like to now invite Mr. Timo Guzman, accompanied by Mr. Ng Ling Fong, for the prize giving. The most popular debater award goes to Abdullah Saud Fatmi from Team Opposition. Congratulations. He has won the most popular debater with 180 votes. Congratulations. And now, the Best Debater Award goes to Daniel Iskandar from Team Opposition. Congratulations. Congratulations once again, and thank you to our judges for the prize giving. You may return to your seats. With that, thank you to all our viewers for staying with us throughout the event today. And on behalf of our organizer, I would like to once again graciously thank our collaborative partner, the delegation of the European Union to Malaysia, our venue partner, University Science Malaysia, soft skills training partner, the Malaysian Institute for Debate and Public Speaking, MIDP, and our co-partners, Institute for Research and Development of Policy, IRDP, UNITEN and UNITEN Debate and Oratory Society, University Tun Hussein, Malaysia, University Technology Malaysia, GRAS Malaysia, and Clot Circularity. Once again, well done, debaters. We're confident that your talents will shine through and captivate us, leaving a lasting impression. With this, it's the end of the 5th episode of the Youth Parliamentary Debathon 2024. While you're still here, I would actually like to invite you to take part in a survey by Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air Negara to understand how aware are you on water-efficient products. And by taking part, you will actually stand a chance to receive a 5 ringgit Touch and Go e-wallet credit, as well as a water-efficient tap by SPAN. With that, good evening, and I hope to see you all again next year. As you leave, there is a special ESG-friendly gift that we have actually prepared for you, so you may actually collect it at the registration area before you go. And once again, I'm Diana, and thank you so much, and hope to see you all soon. Thank you, goodbye, and take care.
I want Europe to become the first climate-neutral continent in the world by 2050.
Just Transition Fund is...
If we want to deliver, obviously mobilizing EU funds
That's exactly what we want to do.
Most importantly is the works which are going to be done.
Appropriate support for paying new obligations. We need everyone, and no one will get left behind.
As we continue to battle the pandemic, we must also focus on our long-term challenges. This is why the Green Deal, as a growth strategy, remains our compass throughout the recovery.
We will reduce emissions by at least 55% by 2030. And today's agreement puts us on a clear path towards climate neutrality in 2050. It gives certainty to investors, to businesses, to public authorities, and to citizens. It future-proofs our union.
Fast fashion. It's affordable, it's trendy, and it's everywhere. But behind the flashy storefronts and Instagram-worthy outfits lies a different story. A story of waste, pollution, and exploitation. Join us for a heated debate as youth tackle the both sides of the argument. What's more important, planet or profit?